Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Detroit Tigers franchise mode here in MLB The Show 21. So in last episode we had the entire offseason, and yeah, we let go of a couple pieces because we had to, but our team is pretty similar to last year. We traded away Manning, though, because we had to, because cap reasons. But I basically, at the end of last episode, after I recorded, made some roster adjustments, and our team, it has the first rank currently. It could be because of spring training still, but we're currently looking like we're going to be a very good team this year, even better than last year. But I did make some adjustments, as I was just mentioning. So some players that I had to send down include like James, Rodriguez, Castillo, Grubb. So not the end of the world, but there's a couple players that are going to be on waivers, which are kind of questionable, but we have to do it. So like Bronson Bonner had to be put on waivers because I am going to be running Robbie Harvey, I think, as a catcher if we can. But also because we had to get down to 26 players. So yeah, Bronson Bonner was put on waivers. He's probably going to end up getting claimed. I hope that's not the case though. And then also we did put, who was it? We also put Juan Cedeno down to AAA because Mark Sullivan had a fantastic spring training, and I think he's going to be pretty good because of his contact hitting is nuts. Like, this guy's got a 95 contact hitting against left-handed pitchers, so yeah, he's going to be in our lineup full-time this year over Cedeno. We could always change it around because I think, yeah, Cedeno could always come back up if we need to. And we also sent Vince Means back down. What else was it? Oh yeah, we also put Kiki McKenna and George Ferris on waivers, so those guys could get claimed too. But our roster is probably going to be really good this upcoming year. I just feel like this is probably the best option we have, our best chance we have at winning the World Series. So let's get to the start of the regular season, see if those ratings are still true, which it doesn't show. But yeah, we should be a really good team this year. Let's get rid of these notifications, and let's set up our pitching rotation and our lineups for this season. Wait, actually, there's our rankings. So, yeah, we're still top 5, though, but we're really good contact hitting. Apparently, our power is still really good. Pitching is, it's just our defense and speed. I can never seem to get those that high up, but hopefully they can be better soon. But let's get our pitching rotation set up. So, David Jordan won the Cy Young last year, so I feel like he should be technically our ace to an extent. But Chauncey was really good last year as well. So I think we'll just run with what the AI has it set up like right now. And we're going to run Robbie Paulino as a starter because he's got 92 hits per 9, which is pretty good. And then our reliever-wise, Perez, Selby looks good. Mayer and Franco as mid-relievers. Joe Green is a setup guy, same with Sammy Chavez, and Corona as our closer. That looks good to me. I'll let the AI decide what to do for like AAA and AA, but that looks good. And then our lineup-wise, the AI already has it set up pretty good, I think. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Gary Hara, Eduardo Cortez, Waters, Nunez. Yeah, this team looks really good. Because you got a guy that's like Gary Hara, like a good contact hitter. You got another good contact hitter. You got another good contact hitter, somewhat decent power as well. Very good power hitter on number 4 spot. I really like Carmen Nunez right there. Pierre Montenegro is good. He's a good contact hitter as well. Solid power hitter too. Our entire lineup looks really nice. And like our bench looks kind of disgusting too. When like against right-handed pitchers, you got guys like Valdez who can come off the bench. You got Bryant Packard. You got Robbie Harvey. You got Mark Sullivan, the youngster. This team is going to be good this year for sure, I think. There's no question about it. It's just more about if we could stay healthy, which I hope is the case. But yeah, this team looks like they're going to definitely be a very good team again. It's just more about if we could actually win in the playoffs this year, I think, if we get there. Because who knows, we could just miss randomly. But yeah, we're going to be a good team this year. I could feel it in my bones. But then again, we're also right up against the Caps, so that's a little bit scary. Because we will have to probably trade away some players in the offseason and make adjustments to get certain players back. So because we're paying a lot to our pitchers actually at the moment. Like, that's probably why our team is so good. Because if you look at our pitching players, our starting pitchers, currently Chauncey's making $31 million for the next 3 seasons or 3 seasons. Casey's making a lot. We might have to eventually get rid of Casey Mize because he's probably one of the worst of the pitchers, which is kind of crazy. But a lot of players on our pitching core are locked up long-term deals. So Anyways, let's start simulating. We'll sim up to draft day, and then we'll have the draft in this episode as well. But yeah, hopefully this team does pretty good this year. I think there's no question that we should be not that bad this year, but you know, so we'll sim 62 days up to the draft, and apparently the Mudheads don't have the rotation, so let's auto fix that. But yeah, there should be no question that we make the playoffs this year, unless for some reason other teams have picked up better players than us. But we're staying right around 500, which is weird right now, and we do have an injury. That is not good. Who got injured? Who got injured on this team? Scouting, okay. Hopefully it's not a long-term injury once we find out who it was. Injured list. Carmen Nunez out 1 to 2 months. Oh my god. You gotta be joking me. One of my best power hitters out for that long. Gotta move him to 60-day IL. And we could call up somebody, but that's a huge loss. Because do we even have another good third baseman? No, we do have Cedeno actually that could come up now. So I'll call up Cedeno. But yeah, that's a pretty big blow to the team, considering he was off to a fantastic start as well with 8 home runs. Carmen Nunez is a really good power hitter, but to get injured that early, not great. Hopefully when he comes back he lights it up, but that still really sucks, that injury. So injury-wise, or I guess roster-wise, Cedeno is going to have to be our starting third baseman, unless we want to go with Mark Sullivan instead, which I think I'm going to do, because I know Mark Sullivan's a fantastic contact hitter. So yeah, Mark Sullivan's going to come into the lineup. Cedeno is going to go to the bench. And we'll go Mark Sullivan. And at least Mark Sullivan's a good contact hitter, so he's a really solid replacement. Can Mark Sullivan hit also against left-handed pitchers? I think so, right? Yeah, he's got really good contact against both hands. He's not a good power hitter, but he's a good contact guy. So we will get him in all those lineups, and that is good to go. Okay, so we're 13 and 16. We're third in our division right now, but let's continue to sim up to draft day. Mark Sullivan getting some time to play, and also Cedeno being put on our bench. There's a lot of wins this month, which is good as we look to get back up in the standings. And now we are at draft day. We are 28 and 25. We're actually don't have any games back on the White Sox, so we're in a good spot. But like I was saying, once Nunez comes back, our team's going to be really good. So let's take a look at our player stats once we get rid of these notifications. And then we'll take a look at, or start getting into the draft and whatnot. So let's take a look at how these guys have been playing. So Chauncey's off to a fantastic start. He might actually end up winning the Cy Young this year too. 7-0 with a 2.54 ERA and a .89 whip. He's like literally playing like a Jacob deGrom type of player right now. That is absolutely nuts. Having a .89 whip through how much innings? 71 innings is like crazy. This is definitely the best year for Chauncey so far. He is living up to his $31 million he's getting paid. And I mean, David Jordan's playing great as well as the other pitcher. 1.16 whip, 382 ERA. Maybe not on pace to win a Cy Young this year, but very fantastic numbers. Casey Mize has also been really good. Franklin Perez has been good. So in general, our pitching looks like it's been pretty good. Dennis Tucker has been struggling a bit, but that's okay. Selby's been pretty solid. Polino's been pretty good. Yeah, just in general, our pitching has been good, I think. Relief pitcher-wise, okay. Maybe our relievers aren't doing that well. It looks like Joe Green dropped off a cliff, which I didn't expect. Might have to trade him away to free up cap space in the offseason, I don't know. But a 9.9 ERA and a 2.5 whip through 10 innings. He must have had one really bad game. But that is terrible. James Mayer has been really good as a reliever, and Christian Franco is not doing too hot. So it looks like our relievers aren't doing the greatest. Diego Corona as a closer has been good. Sammy Chavez as a setup guy has been terrible. Interesting. In terms of our catchers so far, looks like Bronson Bonner actually did get to go down to AAA, which is good. But Chad Hirsch is off to a solid start with a .255 batting average. Valdez is really struggling. He's hitting a .207. And Colvin's continuing to drop off, but Colvin's outplaying him with a .310. But why is Valdez struggling so much? Like, he's not really living up to the 10.8 mil we gave him. I hope he kind of bounces back from that a little bit. What else we got here? Cortez has been good, really good, hitting a 244 average. What's his OPS? A 780. He's been good. Fortune's been good, hitting a 308. Third baseman wise, Nunez is obviously still injured for another little bit. Mark Sullivan, no, has been fantastic as a replacement. So at least we have Mark Sullivan because he's hitting a 322 with that great contact hitting he has. 3 home runs, 16 RBIs through 87 at-bats. It's amazing. And then Cedeno has not been good since getting called up off the bench, but at least Sullivan's stepping up while Nunez is out. And then shortstop-wise, Garcia's been really good, hitting a 275. Vince Means is in AAA. Gary Harris hitting a 301, which is nice. Packard's hitting a 231 off the bench, and Robbie Harvey's hitting a 224. Liking that a lot. How's Hinton doing? Hitting a 262, good stuff. This guy was our first-round pick last year, so... Center fielding wise, Brandon Marsh hitting a 285 is nice. Waters hitting a 319 is fantastic. And Plummer in AAA is hitting a 266. He should technically be in the MLB at this rate, but we don't have any room for him at the moment. Not till Brandon Marsh's contract's done probably, or we trade Brandon Marsh away, or trade away Drew Waters. Because I mean, if Drew Waters leaves, it's not the end of the world because we could replace him with Plummer. So, right fielding wise, Pierre Montenegro has been fantastic, hitting a 289. Coming off his good season last year. Yeah, he's a fantastic player now. And then Michael Bland in AAA is hitting a 337. Jeez. That is fantastic. Yeah, we're having a really good year, and then our prospects are also having a really good year. Because top prospect-wise, Michael Bland is number 2. Troy Hinton's number 14. What else we got here? Before we actually get into the draft, Colby Wyatt's number 34. What overall is he even? 70 overall at 23, not too bad. And that's it. Let me take a quick look at what we've been doing good at so far as a team. Looks like batting average wise, we're a good team. Just want to kind of see if there's anything we should address. Double wise, we're second in doubles. Triples, we're not that great. How about home run wise? We're getting a lot of home runs, that's good. Yeah, we're probably just going to have a really good second half of the season, but we'll get more home runs once Nunez returns from his injury, because he's our main home run player at the moment. And ERA-wise, what about that? 10th, probably because of our relievers, though, because some of our relievers have really struggled. Not too bad. Okay, so that's that. Let's get into this draft and add a few more pieces into our puzzle. I don't even really know what we need in terms of the draft, because based on the 30 MLB teams, like our main weakness at the moment is first base and right field, because they're 14th, and then after that it's shortstop, and then it's second base and closing pitcher and relief pitcher. Other than that, we're top 10 in every other position. So I really honestly don't know what we need. So I guess if we find any good first basemen or right fielders, maybe we take something like that. Let's go into the draft, see what there is. I don't even know what we're going to get, but hopefully something decent for the future. So we have the last pick in the draft because we had the best record in the MLB last year. So there is a first baseman, and it's a guy named Miguel Cabrera. So, I mean, it might be actually the son of Miggy, technically. And technically, since we're the Detroit Tigers, I feel like I should be taking him. He was born in Oklahoma, though. Do we take the son of Miggy? Probably. Even though he doesn't have high potential. I just don't know if he's going to go in the next round, but we do need first baseman, like I was saying. Or we could use first baseman. I mean, if my stats are correct, which there might be close to it, this guy's a good contact hitter. Not a power hitter, though, like his dad would be, I guess, if it is his dad. There is also some other good first basemen, though, but let's start by potential first. A lot of these guys, though, this guy might be better, Edgar Pacheco. I feel like Miguel Cabrera might be available next round. And if that is the case, we could grab him then, but he's not as scouted. I feel like I gotta go with Miguel Cabrera. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Miggy, even though I don't know if he's got high potential, or he probably doesn't have high potential. We gotta go with this guy. There's no question about it. Being the Detroit Tigers, and obviously having Miguel Cabrera in our first few seasons, and now having this guy, And he's also the same position, I'm pretty sure. We got to take him. It's just a sign we had to take him. Even if he's not as good as some of the other dudes, so be it. We had to get him. Maybe we could have got him in this round, I don't know, but still. What else could we get here? There's a couple other first basemen that might have potential. 75 and 75 and a third baseman, which is something we do need. So you know what, we're going to go with Damon Lusk. He's 21 though. So he might not be that great, but I don't really care. What else we got here? Other good potential players. First baseman, not high overall. Starting pitcher, 23 though. Let's sort by overall. A lot of these guys aren't scouted that well. Shortstop, that's 18, and he might be a 70-70. That's not too bad. Might be a project player, but I think I'm going to take him. Woody Cogan, or Kogan. We're going to take him. But yeah, even if we don't get good prospects, it's not the end of the world because this team is pretty good on their way right now. So, and if we win a World Series soon, it doesn't really matter because I don't know how long this series is going to technically run for. But yeah, it looks like the rest of this draft is not going to be that great. There might be another first baseman with some potential, but he might be a very tough guy to develop. But he might honestly be the best option. 80-65 for a second baseman. That's not a bad idea. There might be this dude, though. This guy might be actually decent, this pitcher. But he's 23 already is the only problem. I'm going to try and take the second baseman, I think, just because we might need somebody if Cortez retires. But yeah, this draft might end up being a crapshoot. It might actually be in a good draft. Who knows? It's hard to really tell. I could always go with another catcher, but that guy has like no potential. 19-year-old. This guy's a project player, but I think I gotta go with him. Yeah, I'm gonna go with him, even though he's a project player, more than likely. Because at least maybe he could turn into something if he develops well, but I don't know if he will. And our last pick of the draft, let's sort by potential. And throw in a random crapshoot at a starting pitcher. 21 years old. Or 20-year-old. Or a relief pitcher. We could go with a relief pitcher. Because we're going to need somebody to eventually replace like Joe Green and whatnot. There's also a closer. I'm going to go with the relief pitcher just because we need relievers. Might as well. Don't know if that's going to be a good pick. Oh yeah, we have one more pick actually, never mind. But now we only have a choice between 5 players for the last pick in the draft. And this guy might have 80 potential, so we'll go with him. Might as well. Yeah, this draft is probably not going to be that great. Who knows? We'll also take a look at the All-Star voting once we take a look at these prospects. So, let's see what we got here. We got a C potential, Miguel Cabrera, who's a 60 overall. So that's not too good. 78 potential. So nowhere near as good as his dad, but he is a good contact hitter. So maybe this guy makes it. Like 78 is not terrible for a first baseman. Like he might end up becoming a bench player. So we'll sign him up, obviously. Damon Lusk is a 75 with 75 potential. So a very good draft for him, at least being a high overall. But the potential obviously not being there. He's a good contact hitter. I'll give him that. We'll definitely sign him up because he could end up jumping into our lineup if we lose players. Woody Cogan, 71 overall at 18 for a shortstop is good, but 67 potential. So he's pretty similar to like Charles Arrington and stuff like that, but we'll sign him up. Oliver Santana, 62 overall at 22, 76 potential. I'll still sign him up because he's got some potential. Bobby Warrig, 40 overall and 79 potential. So that guy actually had no potential whatsoever. We said this guy was going to be a project player and maybe good potential-wise, but he's a low overall and he's got not the greatest potential. Like, he's definitely way worse than Cabrera is. I think I might let that guy walk because he's 19, but yeah, he's not going to become really anything. He's got really terrible hitting and all that. And an Alfredo Bermudez. 78 potential, relief pitcher. I mean, they're both 19 only, so they could still make it. So, you know what, we'll sign them both. Why not? We might end up losing people. And, okay. Daryl Phillips with the last pick in the draft. Might be a huge steal because 71 overall and 21 years of age is not terrible. And he's got 82 potential. So, The last pick in the draft might actually be a decent pick if he develops well. So that was our draft. I think it was an interesting one, especially because there's a Miguel Cabrera coming to Detroit. So there we go on that front, and let's take a look at the Ulster voting to see if there's any leaders for us getting into the Ulster game potentially. So Chauncey's leading for starting pitcher. He's got the most votes so far, which is not a surprise considering he's off to that great of a start. Any other players up there for us? Doesn't look like it. What about relief pitcher wise? Nobody. Not really a surprise. Closing pitcher wise, Corona is up there, but he's not even close to first, because Jimmy Harrington of the White Sox has number 1 by quite a large margin. Catcher wise, we do not have anybody up there. First baseman wise, we don't have anybody up there. Second baseman wise, we have Eduardo Cortez getting votes. It's good to see, but he probably won't make it because he's quite far off Gavin Lux. So, and a third baseman wise is nobody. Shortstop wise, nobody. Left fielding wise, Gary Hare's all the way down there, but he's probably not going to make it because this Taylor Farrell dude is really good. I wish we would have drafted him almost to an extent because he's a really good player, but it could be because Seattle's a good team. I don't know. Center fielding wise, we don't have anybody up there. Actually, Drew Waters is up there. Interesting. Right fielding wise, we have Pierre Montenegro, who's very close as well. So we might have some All-Stars this year. What do we got for notifications? Get rid of that. Boom. So I think that's almost it. Let me just take a look at the award leaders right now. Chauncey's right now number 1 for the Cy Young, so hopefully that keeps around. Luis Gildo is really good for the White Sox as well. So, but yeah, Chauncey with that .89 ERA is, or .9 WHIP is gross, and that FIP is pretty good too. His FIP is actually a little bit better than worse than it was last year, but that's good to see. Anybody else up there currently for awards? Just out of curiosity for fun. Drew Waters is close to getting to Hank Aaron. We're halfway through the season, so these guys could all of a sudden just drop off, but Gary Hare is still up there for the Golden Glove behind Patrick Dwyer. Okay, so that's pretty much that, I think. Yep, that's good. Let's take a look at League Leaders for fun as well. Add a tiny little bit more time to this episode. Anybody up there? Pierre Montenegro's up there in doubles. Same with Luis Garcia, and also I think Gary Hare. Yep, 3 players up there in doubles. That's pretty awesome. Anything else? We have Brandon Marsh and Drew Waters are up there on base on balls. OPS wise, we do have Drew Waters is up there. So Drew Waters has been fabulous, but we might end up losing him this offseason. Chauncey's tied for the lead in wins. He also is tied for the lead in losses. And in ERA wise, he's not number 1, but that's okay. Luis Garcia is number 1 for the Orioles. And in home runs allowed, we don't have anybody up there. Strikeouts, Casey's number 2. And David Jordan's up there in complete games. Innings pitched, Chauncey's number 2, only behind Lincoln Bump. I said Bump for some reason, I don't know why. Whip wise, yep, there's McElroy at number 1. He's only one of 3 players below 1, and he's the only player below .98, which is crazy. He's on another planet. And pitching war wise, Casey Mize is number 2, and David Jordan's number 3. I don't even know how pitching war is determined and all that, but Andrew Waters is up there in batting war. So that is that. And I think that's pretty much it. Let me take a look at the standings for a second. We've scored as much runs actually as the White Sox, and we've allowed way less runs against. Looks like we're a really good pitching team because we've only allowed 214 runs, and the next closest for runs allowed is a couple teams under below 100, but they've scored less runs. The Rockies are the first ranked team apparently, and they're 40-16. So yeah, that would be scary if we end up getting into the finals against like a Rockies team. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Detroit Tigers franchise mode. So in next episode, we will simulate the next half of the season and see if we make it back to the playoffs again. And if we make it back to the playoffs, how far we will go. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.